Okay, I wanted to just do a quick reaction video here, basically from a forum. I just did a video basically describing the differences between expressions and equations, which I thought was a pretty simple concept, really. Basically you have an equation, you've got an equal sign, you're basically showing equivalency between two expressions. And I ran into a issue where somebody asking a question, which equation did you use? I don't quite understand the question. The problem was 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2 equals, and then a question mark, okay? The big thing is the question mark. So what we ran into here was that someone was saying, well, there's no equation here, that's algebra. Okay, so for one thing, they're confusing equations and assuming that they only apply to algebra. So this problem is just a simple expression in arithmetic that follows the order of operations. So after you solve the multiplication, just solve the expression left to right. Well, this individual is correct about the order of operations, but they're a little bit confused on the difference between an expression and an equation. But then I responded back and I just said, hey, it does qualify as an equation since there is an equal sign. The question mark to the right of the equal sign could easily have been a variable or a number. All the same, you are correct that, in the order of operations, the answer to the problem is negative 13. Um, I think I've gone through that solution before. I'm not going to do that here. But, basically, 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2 equals negative 13 is an equation as well. I'm not sure what's the problem. And then the odd response I got back was an expression in math is a statement having a minimum of two numbers. Okay, that makes sense. Or two, or variables, or both, and an operator connecting them, which is fine. Had this been written 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2, and that was it, full stop, that's an expression. I would agree with that. Now here, this next sentence, he's copying and pasting this too. An equal sign is not appended to the end of an expression. Yes, that's correct. Nor is it expressly needed until a solution is determined. That's all correct. That is an expression. I agree with that. But he's arguing with me over this, and he's actually pasting the correct information. So I'm not sure where his disconnect is. An expression may contain one or more terms identified by separation on either side of a plus or minus sign. That's true. 5 plus 5 is an expression. 9 minus 2 is an expression. I agree with that. An equation, this is where I'm really baffled. An equation, on the other hand, is a statement that two mathematical expressions are equal, indicated by the sign equal sign. So he's basically telling me what I've been telling him, but yet he's not seeing this as an equation. So I don't know what he's doing. An equation is the process of equating one thing with another. Yeah, that's right. We're equating a question mark sign with a numeric expression. An expression does not equate to anything until it's solved. Well, yeah, if you have an expression that says x plus 2, okay, well, I can't really solve that because I don't know what x is. If you tell me that x equals 5, then 5 plus 2 equals 7. Oh, 5 plus 2 equals 7 is an equation. X plus 2 equals 7 is an equation. You have an equal sign. So he's telling me all the right things, but then yet he's not connecting the dots. And I tried to respond back and just say, look, equation shows equivalency between two expressions, which is exactly what we have. Just because they chose to make the second expression a question mark and not a variable or a constant does not change that. Had they written the problem without an equal sign, then yes, it would simply be an expression. It's very simple. 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2 equals question marks is an equation. You have an equal sign and you have two expressions. regardless if the second expression is represented by question marks and not an x or a y, some variable, a, b, c, whatever. 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2 equals negative 13 is an equation. 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2 equals a is an equation. Wow, now we're starting to look at like algebra, right? We've got variables in here. But an equation is not defined by only being an algebraic equation. That's never been the case. 3 minus 3 times 6 plus 2 is an expression. All of that all that jives with the definitions that he copied and pasted, but he's not understanding that. And of course, he has a laugh emoji at the end of my explanation. I mean, you literally copied and pasted the definition of an equation and how the expression and equation are differentiated by an equal sign, and yet you don't think this one is an equation. Wow. I mean, I had to leave it at that. I don't know really what's going on there, but I really didn't think there was that much confusion in what the difference is between an expression and an equation. I guess we have situations where people kind of half remember how things work and they just get that ingrained in their mind, and they latch on to some irrelevant thing. But anyhow, I hope this is helpful. I'm going to link to the other video I did. I mean, this pretty much explains it, but I have a video talking about the difference between expressions and equations because I see that show up a lot, where people are confused on the issue, and this really demonstrated that. All right.